Very good news for Cape Townians now. The Theewaterskloof Dam is now overflowing for the first time since 2014. Yes, I did say overflowing. The Western Cape's biggest dam was almost turned into a desert in 2018, with the province battling its worst drought in years. To tell us more about where the collective dam level stands, we speak now to Provincial Environmental Affairs spokesperson James-Brent Styan. James, thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. So while we're experiencing a dry year so far here in Joburg, Cape Town's water prospects have dramatically improved. Can you put this down just to rainfall?
No, not only rainfall, also consumers who've taken down their water use quite dramatically. To give you an idea, just before this drought really set in, the city of Cape Town was using about 1.2 billion litres of water per day, and the city, through various mechanisms, managed, along with the support of the public, to get the water usage per day to below 500 million litres of water per day at one stage. So 1.2 billion to 500. At the moment, I think it's around 650 to 700 million litres. So quite a significant effort as well from the public to use less water, and that certainly contributed as well. But certainly the good rain that we've received in the past 2 years has made a significant contribution.
So the Theewaterskloof Dam, 99% plus, but what's the collective dam level looking like?
For the city of Cape Town, it's pretty much 100%. There's one dam that's at the moment 99 point something, but pretty much for the city of Cape Town, things there's been a remarkable turnaround. January 2018, we were looking at a pretty dire situation, talking of about things like a day zero for the city of more than 4.5 million people, so pretty severe. So in about 2.5 years to be turned around, to see that the city, all the dams supplying the city with water, to be at a complete level of about 100% is pretty remarkable. The rest of the province, we're looking at an average of about 80%, so this is across the entire Western Cape. Most parts are looking pretty good, the best they've looked in 7 or 8 years. But certainly there are still some parts, the Central Karoo region in particular, where the Kannaland municipality, Carlsdorp, municipalities like that, Laingsburg, municipalities like that, where we still do see severe drought, particularly within the agricultural sector. So the towns have water to drink, but the agricultural sector in those regions still very much in a severe drought.
So staying with that issue of agricultural water challenges, what are the challenges with water redistribution from areas of plenty to areas like the Karoo, where there is a drought in certain places?
Water distribution in terms of
redistribution
water from full dams to emptier dams.
Is it possible to assist people in the Karoo who are struggling?
Not so much in the Karoo regions. Look, this is perhaps a question Department of Water and Sanitation should be answering. But just in general, the distances are extreme. Beaufort West is about 500 kilometers from Cape Town. There's no pipeline going from Theewaterskloof Dam to Beaufort West. So that's very tricky. What we have done in the past is taken water by tankers, along with partners like Gift of the Givers and other partners, taken water to towns that had severe water stress. But over the past 5 years, we've done a lot of work in the small towns, the rural areas, drilling boreholes, ensuring key areas like hospitals and schools have water to drink. So we relied a lot on the groundwater. So the groundwater levels, underground water, in other words, were in those areas is still pretty good, and we relied on that quite a lot. We had to put in a lot of infrastructure to be sure that the towns could extract the water from the ground. And that's been done over the past 5 years. That's how we managed to, in the Western Cape, ensure that every town, not a single town, ran out of drinking water. But transporting water from a place like Cape Town to a place like Beaufort West is I suppose, probably pretty impossible at this stage.
So moving our focus back to the city of Cape Town, a picture of plenty at the moment, but how quickly could that picture change? And as a result, are consumers still being urged to use water sparingly?
Well, we're heading into the summer. Summer's always our high peak usage period. How quickly it could change, I mean, you know, I don't know. It's impossible. If everybody leaves their taps on all the time, it could probably change very quickly. All the sluices are open at the same time, but that's not the case. We manage the system quite optimally as possible. But certainly we want to urge the public, we want to urge consumers to use water responsibly, continue using water wisely. The thing with water is we're always going to be a country with water challenges. It doesn't matter where in the country you are. Some years you're going to have more water than other years. The best time to save water is while you still have it. At the moment, we're very lucky, especially in the city of Cape Town, is to have water levels where they are, but we need to manage it optimally. We need to instill permanent behavior change when it comes to using our scarce resources. This does not only apply to water, by the way. It applies to things like waste management. It applies to things like the way any scarce resource, and we need to, as a people, the population growth is a real thing. Urbanization is a real reality. We need to use our scarce resources more responsibly, and we want to thank people for the incredible efforts they've put in over the past 3, 4, 5 years, particularly within the city of Cape Town, and we want to urge them to continue to please do so, because we might have had good water this year. This might not necessarily be the case next year, and we are always looking towards the next year.
James, Cape Town is also a tourism hotspot. As we see international tourism slowly returning to what we hope would be a normal picture, how successful has your messaging been to tourists coming to Cape Town in also assisting in conserving water?
So I can't speak on behalf of the city of Cape Town, but certainly it was a major concern. 2018, massive concern. How do you attract tourists to Cape Town and tell them they can't use water? They can't draw long, deep baths. It's a tricky situation, but I think the city did a remarkable job. All the hotels, all the residential areas, the tourist attractions put in place water measuring, water management devices, good communication with the guests. I think everyone pulled together and understood that the situation was pretty serious, and this is why we want to thank people for pulling together. By working together, we were able to get through these droughts. And now we're very lucky that we don't have to be as severe and as strict with regards to telling tourists you're not allowed to have a bath anymore. Please, we want to tell them, come to Cape Town, come have a bath, come have a nice visit to our winelands, come have a nice visit to our beaches, and afterwards you're welcome to have a nice drink of water as well.
Well, thanks very much for speaking to us. That was James-Brent Styan, spokesperson for the Western Cape Environmental Affairs.